right, Katie, time to get to work. We need to get rid of this countertop, the sink, the vanity, and this electrical outlet right here on the side.
That's the only one in the bathroom, so I'd really like to keep it if we can.
All right, then we'll disconnect that and see if we can put it back into the new vanity. But I want you to do a lot of the work today, so why don't you dive under there, and there's two shut-off valves. Just turn them clockwise to the right and shut the water off. It's the hot. All right, Katie, using that adjustable open-end wrench, I want you to just loosen those nuts right at the top of the shut-off valves. Again, lefty-loosey. You can loosen it with your hand if it's loose enough. Just spin that right off. All right, that's the hot. Now we want to do the cold on the other side. Very good. All right, so there's our hot and cold connections done. Now we have one more thing to disconnect, and that's the drain connection to that trap. With the pliers, I just want you to loosen the nut right there, that top nut. Now actually, just flip those pliers over. They actually grip better on the nut if you go that way. Yep, good. And loosen that. When it gets loose enough, you can do it by hand. Now this is a self-rimming sink, which means the only thing that holds it to the countertop is some caulking. I want to take a razor knife and just to relieve that caulking so we can pop it out of there. All right, let's see if I can pry this up with a flat bar. Now the countertop is screwed to the base, so there's a series of screws I'm going to remove, and we can take the countertop right out. All right, Katie, this is wedged in, so we got to sort of work it, keep it square. Keep coming, keep coming. Hopefully these walls are true. Keep coming. If you can. Will it come? Careful. Keep coming. Yeah, good. That makes us be able to get it out of here. There we go. Good. Follow me. Now, the only thing still holding the vanity in place is the hot and the cold piping and this electrical wire. To make it easy, I'm just going to cut the floor of the vanity out. Okay, I think we're all clear, Katie. So just grab an end of that. Just pull that electrical outlet right there. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right, here is our new vanity base. Just pass me the old drawer, would you? Now, the old vanity had nice narrow drawers. The new ones are much wider. That's good news for you. But it's bad news for me because these drawers block where the hot and the cold line come up through the floor. So that means I've got to repipe these over so that they come up on this side. And that means going to the basement and turning off the water. Now to move the pipes, I want to cut in two elbows. One about this height right here, another one a little bit lower, and the two lines will come over here and up. For that, I need you to cut the pipe. Okay, this is a great little cutter called an imp. It has a screw right here that you have to tighten up carefully, and there's the blade. Just stick it on the pipe. You can see the mark I made down there. And just tighten it up. No, I think you're on too far. See the little wheels right there? Yep, right there. Perfect. Now just go around 360, yep. You should go right into the cut you first made. All right, looks like you can tighten that thumb screw a little bit, and as you do, that blade goes a little deeper in. Okay, there it is. Good.
Go.
All right, so take this cleaning brush, that side right there, and just clean the inside of these elbows. I'm going to need a total of 4 of them. Just go in one direction because you don't want to wreck the brush. All right. Now I have dry fit all these pipes. I've got the hot and the cold. They come across about 2 inches apart right here, but still underneath the base of the cabinet. Then they turn in 2 inches apart. And they come up just high enough so they'll come above the base of the cabinet floor. And now I will flux them and solder them in place. Installed a couple of half-inch copper test caps and actually turned the water back on downstairs. I want to be sure that these lines don't have any leaks on the solder connections because they're going to sit underneath the vanity base. Now, with that done, now I want to get the measurements off the wall so I can drill those holes. It's about 3.5 inches off the back wall for both of them, and from this side, it's 12 and 14 inches to center of the pipe. I want to just transfer those measurements and drill my holes. All right, it's 12 and 14 inches from this side. All right, Katie, there's one more modification we have to do. You can see the two copper lines are going to fit pretty good right there, but look at this. This drain line coming out of the wall is going to hit this backer piece, so I'm going to notch the back of that. Let me just mark it. Good. Okay, good. Now what I've also done is to rough in for our old electrical outlet. I drilled 4 pilot holes, and with a jigsaw I cut out the opening. And once that outlet is in place, I can secure it to the cabinet using these bars, Madison bars they call them. Has 2 tabs. Bend them over. There's one, okay. All right, screw their faceplate on, and it's time to go back to plumbing. So I turned the water off again so that I could cut these test caps off, because I want to install a couple of shut-off valves right here. But before I solder these shut-off valves, I want to be sure to disassemble them and remove these assemblies that have washers right here, because if I soldered it, I could deform the washers and they wouldn't hold. Now we need to think about securing our vanity cabinet to the wall. So I've got a high-speed drill bit and go through the cabinet in 2 places. Once I've drilled those holes, I'm going to take a masonry bit to go through the ceramic tile and install some anchors. Now to hold the countertop down to the vanity, I want you to put a silicone bead right along the top, okay?
Okay.
That's all we got. All right. Here we go. Ooh, that's going to fit nice. So the new shutoffs are in and they're holding, and I've already made my connection to the hot water supply. I'm using a stainless steel braided connection, and the connections here are called compression connections. So you put that in and turn it clockwise, get it caught. Okay, and then just make that connection up tight with an adjustable open end. All right, so our hot and cold connections are made, and now it's time to make up this drain connection. I run the new pop-up assembly in here, and I went to tie into the old trap, and I decided to just take it apart because I saw this black repair coupling here, 2 stainless steel bands over this neoprene gasket. And I assumed that below it, there would be this galvanized pipe, because that's really the vintage of this house, about 1920. But when I opened it up, I saw coming out of the wall PVC. So I would much prefer to have a very permanent connection by gluing a coupling onto there with a nice new trap. So I'm going to do that. So all it needs is a glue connection right here. All right, Katie, I want to put a little plumber's putty right on the top of this pop-up assembly right here. Just put that right around the top. Now, I've normally used plumber's putty for any of these types of connections, but I'm only using it on this porcelain sink right here. As you remember, we used silicone caulking right there. Well, it turns out that plumber's putty has oil in it and can actually leach into a stone top and stain it. But it's not a problem down here in this porcelain sink, so I'm going to use the plumber's putty there. Just hold that and just try to catch that thread. Just, you see it? Okay, good. Now, when I tighten the nut up down here, you're going to see that putty squeeze out. All right, Katie, it is all yours. Give it a try.
All right. Wow. It works great, and it's such an improvement over the last one. Thank you so much, Richard.
My pleasure.